Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and I help people live better lives. I help people level up their lives mentally, spiritually, physically, aesthetically. I'm about the aesthetics. I'm qualified for this because I have been leveling my own life up for decades now. It is something that I've gotten very comfortable with. It is not always comfortable when we are in it. Over the weekend with the full moon, lunar eclipse in Taurus, this very heightened energy, I really moved through a lot of shit. I don't ever want someone to look at me and be like, oh, she's perfect. Like, it never gets hard for her. It gets hard for me. I would go as far as to say that I experienced an ego death this weekend. I knew it was coming. I moved through that on Friday. I had to sit with it yesterday, and then today I feel like so much better. Moving through it in the past, it was not like a weekend thing. It would even be weeks or in some cases months that it took me to move through and acknowledge the lesson. And that's why we call it a practice. I am consistently practicing what is an ego death? Like, what does that even mean? It's really subjective and it can be different for everyone. Your experience might be different than my experience. An ego death is the death of a belief system that is no longer working for us, but we hold on to it for dear life because it's something that we know, it's something that's familiar to us. This belief system that I had me operating in ways that were not in alignment with who I am. It had me operating in ways that are not in alignment with my heart. It was a very old pattern and it had to go. Its time was up. I was supposed to go away this weekend. Monday or Tuesday, I was like, I don't know that I can go. I feel like I need solitude. I know I needed yin yoga. I didn't want to cancel my plans. I really wanted to go away, but I needed to be here. Friday morning, I woke up, I was really in my head. I could not focus. If you have been coming back here for a while, Friday is the day that I post videos. It is supposed to be the day that I have to post a video every week. I did not post a video on Friday. I had it recorded. I could not focus on editing it. No matter what I did, I was so in my head. I reached out to my friend Betsy. She is so wise and so strong. And I'm just so lucky to have her. She's so great. Her advice is just like so on point. It is so accurate. I'm going to link her YouTube in the description of this video. She also does one-on-one sessions. So if you feel like a little lost and you might need a session with her, okay? I had been feeling to reach out to her all week, but I was like, no, I could do this alone. I don't need support. A big part of moving through everything that I've been moving through lately is knowing that I can't do it all alone. And not necessarily that I can't. I'm a strong, independent woman. Just because I can doesn't mean I should have to. I needed that support on Friday. I anticipated like maybe getting some pictures of some tarot cards and maybe like a voice note. She sent me literally a 30-minute video where she just told me everything that I needed to hear. And these are all things that I already knew in my heart. It wasn't anything new to me. Once I heard it from her and I heard it from an external source, it started to really resonate. And that's when I realized like how much I was holding myself back and how much this pattern that I've been in and this like story that I've been in was really hurting me. It was everything I needed to hear. And then once I heard it and I was able to accept it, I was like, okay, now I have to move it out of my body. And then I went to yin yoga. Once I intellectualized the concepts that needed to be moved out, I was able to move them out of my body. I went to yin yoga and there was a new teacher there. At first, I was a little bit hesitant. I was concerned about being in an unfamiliar space. But I went, the teacher was pregnant, which is just like such a beautiful energy that she had around her. I was in it. You know the towels at the gym, bigger than a hand towel? I used like 8 towels to blow my nose into like 8 towels because that's how much I was crying that I had so much snot coming out of me. It was a lot. The whole time I was like in a meditation and just moving through a lot of seeing where this old pattern that I've been holding on to for so long was holding me back. And I was seeing every instance in my life where it had held me back and how long it had been with me. Even though it's not a belief system or a pattern or a habit that is good for me, it still hurts to let it go because it's been a part of me for so long. And even though it's not a part of me that is beneficial to me, it's still, you're still letting go of a part of you, and that's hard to move through. I did it though, and I moved through it, and I felt so good after that class. Like, I had been feeling so tight in my body for the last like 2 weeks. This has been leading up for a very long time, and it was just time for it to go. When I'm in the thick of a lesson, my body like has an aversion to meat, and I just stick to plants. But once I move through the lesson and I move the lesson out of my body wants red meat. So that's how I know I did some deep energy work. When I was in Shavasana on Friday night, all I could think about was steak. I couldn't even really fully enjoy the Shavasana because once the practice was over, my body immediately was like, I need to eat steak like right now. So I went to get steak, and that ended up being delicious Friday night. Slept for like 11 hours Friday night. Slept so good. I woke up yesterday, Saturday, and I did the Chris Corsini full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus workshop. This isn't the first time I've talked about Chris Corsini. His workshops have been instrumental to my change. I feel like they are such an easy way to stay on track with your desires and with your growth, because on the full moons we talk about what we release, on the new moons we talk about what we're manifesting. So once a month you're checking in with the habits that you need to release, and once a month you're checking in with the habits that you want to take in. I've been doing his workshops for like 2.5 years now, and they all just resonate. They've all really hit so hard. Yesterday's hit the hardest out of all of them. A lot of what he was saying with his tarot cards reiterated what Betsy was saying with her tarot cards, and I felt like he was speaking directly to me. I felt like the video was made specifically for me. He dragged me a little bit more than Betsy did. I felt very supported by like the mothering energy between Betsy and Shawnee in my yin yoga practice on Friday. Saturday morning, I just got dragged by Chris Corsini, but like in the best way. Like I needed to hear it that way. I needed the polarity of the way the messages were delivered. It was so beneficial for me. And then I was like, I need to go to yin yoga again. It ended up being the most amazing class that I've had. When you have a strong mind and body connection, it makes everything easier. Like I moved through a very difficult pattern this weekend, and I am here to talk about it with a straight face on Sunday morning, even though I was in it less than 48 hours ago. We have our physical body, and then we have an energetic body around us. I could feel my energetic body, and my energetic body was talking to me, and I could feel it pulling at me. And it's like, come on, it's time for you to step forward. My energetic body has advanced beyond where my physical body still was. And my physical self had to move through this lesson. I had to move the lesson out of my body. And then my energetic body is like, okay, bitch, now catch up. Like, come on, we're up here and you're back there. It's time to come to us. My physical body had to meet my energetic body in that place that I hadn't quite gotten to yet. I felt a sense of completion. I felt so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so proud of the growth that I've made. I'm so proud of the change that I've made. I feel like ready for whatever's next. I don't know what's next, but I feel ready for it. When I got out of that yoga practice, it was mid-afternoon. I decided to just go for a drive by the beach. I took like the hour-long route home instead of the 11-minute route home. And I honestly didn't even turn on music or anything. I just like sat in my car in silence with the windows open, kind of like mentally going through everything that I had physically gone through the last 2 days. And we went over to my grandma's. It was my grandma's 90th birthday, and that was honestly one of the greatest things that I could have asked for this weekend. My grandma's caretaker is the nicest woman in the world, and she made it so special for my grandma. And I'm really glad that I was home for that. And like they say, everything happens for a reason. That was like a really big pick-me-up to see my grandma happy. She has dementia, so it's been difficult, and yesterday wasn't difficult. It was really nice. Over the last 4 or so years, I've really gotten into flowers. I put flowers around my house based on what I feel intuitively called to buy. I'll have guidance to get eucalyptus and red roses, or sometimes I'll have guidance to get something purple and something yellow. Every week it has been different. The flowers and the colors of the flowers are kind of like supporting me through the changes that I'm going through. From December of last year, I felt called to hold on to some of the flowers, and I had been saving some of the flowers and also like some other like random things, like some notes and some paper type things in this giant bag. I felt called to let it go this weekend. I decided to burn these flowers and let it go under that energy of the full moon yesterday, and that is exactly what I did. I sat outside of the chimnea and I just sat with the flowers and with the notes, and I reread the notes, and a lot of the things that I've been through over the last year, it all just made sense at this time. I really released it all and I just let it all go. I immediately felt called to take a shower. I took a shower and then I filled up the bathtub and I was like, I need to extend this. I took a very long hot bath. I did a meditation in the bath. And then I just took it easy, and that's what I'm going to do all day today. And that is so important. Like, you can't see it, but I have a heating pad on my shoulders. I have one on my middle back and I have one on my lower back right now. They're like the disposable heating pads. I slept with them on Friday. I slept with them last night. They're still warm, so I left them on. Little acts of self-care are so important when you are moving through big stuff. Our bodies like take the brunt of the shit that we do. My body was holding on to those stories for so long. My inability to grasp a mental concept made my body suffer. My body had to hold on to that story for a very long time just because I couldn't mentally let go of it. Then my body had to go through the physical pain to release it. It's really important just to support our bodies, and that's another reason why I don't limit the things that I share to just sharing the spiritual stuff or just sharing the physical stuff or just sharing the mental stuff, because it all goes hand in hand. I wouldn't be able to level up spiritually and mentally if I wasn't taking care of my physical body. These things are so important. Setting yourself up for success, for mental success, for spiritual success, for physical success, especially if you want to have aesthetic success. If you want your life to look a certain way, you have to make sure you're taking care of your mental, your spiritual, and your physical health. It all goes hand in hand. My name is Jackie. I share my experiences about leveling up my life mentally, physically, spiritually, and aesthetically to help you level up your life mentally, physically, spiritually, and aesthetically. With me on your side, we are going to level your entire life up. I make new videos multiple times a week, so do not forget to click subscribe, and I will see you next week.